This is the new Volkswagen Tiguan, and it's a little bit like a game of spot the difference, because you do have to look very closely to see what's new over the old Volkswagen Tiguan. But there are some changes to the exterior, interior and the technology, and I'll go into details about that later on in this video, and I'll also help you decide whether this is a better car for you than something like a Volvo XC40 or a Skoda Kodiaq. So the Tiguan range, it starts from £25,000, but if you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can go to carwow and save an average of £1,700 off a Volkswagen Tiguan. Now if you'd like to do that after the video, just simply Google "help me carwow" and my team and I are there to help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted dealers.
Buying a new car? Then head to carwow and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. Carwow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
Let's start off this video by talking about the design of this new Tiguan and play that game and spot the difference. There are some new, more angular, all LED tail lamps. You've got a bigger Tiguan badge there across the back. It's very proud, it's going Tiguan. They've also redesigned the actual VW badge itself. That's harder to spot. There is a redesigned rear bumper, and as you move down the side, you get some new alloy wheels. So they start off at 17 inches, which is just way too small for this kind of car. This being the R line and the range topper, you get 20s, and they look good. The car is quite tall, you know, it's supposed to be an SUV, and it's got the obligatory SUV lifestyle roof bars. The biggest changes though compared to the old Tiguan are here at the front. So you've got some new lights which are further apart than before, and this new grille, which is quite smart. Volkswagen has also changed the lower part of the bumper as well, and this being the R line has an even more sporty design. And that brings on to the fact that you have to be careful which version of this Tiguan you go for, because models lower down in the range can look a little bit basic.
You're basic.
Whereas this R line, smart. Let's have a look at the inside, see what changes are in there. And the most obvious change in here is the steering wheel. This one has touch sensitive buttons on it rather than actual physical buttons. So when you swipe across, it lets you know that you've actually completed the action by vibrating slightly, but you can also press it like a normal button, and then you're never quite sure what to do, and it just doesn't feel as easy to use as good old-fashioned buttons. You also get a new gear selector, I'm fine with that, and so I just turn the ignition on. You'll see that if you have climate control, you also get touch sensitive buttons there, so you do the controls by sliding them rather than turning dials and knobs. That is just not as easy to use when you're driving. It's just not, I'm telling you. See, I turned that all the way up and I didn't mean to. It looks better though, I'll give you that, but I'm not the biggest fan. I do like the new infotainment system though. As standard, you get 8 inches. Though this is the upgraded 9-inch. I don't know why I'm saying good like an innuendo. You have to excuse me, I'm so puerile. Anyhow, the system itself is pretty good. It's very easy to swipe through the different menus. It's all very logically laid out, and you can use gesture controls to swipe as well like that if you want to wave your hand about like an idiot. Tell you the truth though, I haven't been using Volkswagen system. I've just connected my mobile phone via Android Auto, and it does it wirelessly. Same with Apple CarPlay, and I just run Google Maps for the navigation. So much easier, and the mapping graphics are all colourful and sharp enough that you can see things very easily. From mid-level onwards, you get digital dials. Now entry-level cars dials look like this, but these digital ones are pretty nice, and you can change the view of those and look through different menus, and there's lots of information displayed there. It's actually a very, very good system, and I do like it. The rest of the inside of this car is just like the Tiguan was before. So it's quite a plain design really. It's not the most exciting. Yes, the R line has this weird carbon effect trim on the dash, and lesser models are a little bit less flashy. But really, the interior is a bit drab. It's nowhere near as characterful as the interior of a Volvo XC40, and if you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can watch my full in-depth video review of that car to see what I mean. Still, build quality is reasonably good, and the seats are comfortable. This being the R line, you get sport seats, and it has the upgraded leather this particular car does, though that is optional, as is electrical adjustment for the seats, which you don't really need. Speaking of which, the driving position in this car is good. There's plenty of adjustment actually, so it doesn't matter if you're big or tall, you should be able to get comfy behind the wheel, because there is a lot of adjustment in it. Look at that. It's quite a practical car actually, this. Glove box, that's a decent size. You got another space under here, so there's more storage here. A big, I've got my coat trapped in it. Another storage area here with your USB inputs and your 12-volt socket. And the door bins are huge. Look at that, you can fit a few bottles in there. Happy about that, wow. And it's lined with felt so things don't rattle around when you're driving. There's also one last storage place just here where you can put things like your keys and your wallet and stuff. Right, let's go into the back. Oh, God. I hate all these beeping warning sounds. Yes, I know I've got the ignition on. suppose it's for safety. Right, back seats. So this seat is in my ideal driving position, and look at this, loads of knee room. There's also lots of foot room as well. You can stretch out under the seat in front. Headroom's good as well. Even though this car has the panoramic glass roof fitted, which does it into headspace, it doesn't matter because this is such a tall car. So if you want to relinquish a bit of knee room, you can slide the seats forward there and it'll increase the boot space. And there is the ability to alter the angle of this seat's backrest like this. So you can have it dead upright, and if you want to improve your posture, which I don't want to do. Now, if you need to carry 3 people in the back at once, it's not too bad in this car. There is a bit of a hump in the floor that you need to straddle if you're unlucky enough to get the middle seat, but the seat itself is quite squidgy and soft, and there's still plenty of headroom here in the middle. With 3 adults in the back, it is doable, but it is a bit tight on shoulder space, so you feel a little bit squeezed in. But it's not awful, you could survive. I do like the fact that you've got some huge rear windows, so you get a good view out, and check it out, will it pass? Will the window go all the way down? Oh yes, you can do a little bit of arm leanage. Some other useful features here in the back of the car. This one's got the tri-zone climate control, so you can actually set the temperature here in the very back. There's also 2 points for charging, one USB-C and one normal 12-volt socket. There's some useful pockets on the back of the front seats. And look at this, a couple of places for your mobile phone as well, which is really good if you just want to watch some stuff on YouTube, such as a carwow review. You've got some deep door pockets here in the back as well, look. They will fit big bottles, and once again they are lined. Though quality in the back isn't quite as good as in the front. The door tops, scratchy plastics back here rather than soft touch that you get in the front. We can forgive the car for that. Also, if you need to carry a child seat, this car's pretty good. So the Isofix anchor point's very easy to get to. They're exposed all the time. You don't have to lift off any covers. Also, it's very easy to get a big rear-facing bulky seat here in the back because the doors open so wide. You don't really have to move the front seat forward much either to make it fit. That's all good. One last thing to show you is this. You need to carry longer items. You can fold down this central seat, and yeah, you can still have 2 passengers either side. And that does bring me onto this car's boot. So let's go check that out. Now, higher trim level versions of the Tiguan have an automated tailgate. If you can't be bothered to lift the tailgate yourself. The boot is huge, 520 litres. Now, if you need more space, click on the pop-out banner up there to check out my in-depth video review of the Skoda Kodiaq. You probably won't really need more space though. You can fit 6 airplane-style carry-on luggage cases underneath the load cover in this car. Also, there's hardly any boot lip at all, so you can drag heavier items such as this out. Oh, my back actually. There's lots of cool features in this car. You've got places where you can hang things off. You've got tie down points. You've got 12-volt socket. There's some extra storage areas here at the side. You can lift this up, and then there's little holders which keep it up, so you can get to the space saver spare wheel, and then you can lower this just a little bit, not much, down if you need even more boot space. Just put that back actually, because I want to show you this. If you need to fold down the rear seats, you do it by pulling these levers here, that one there and that one there. And that does allow you to slide items to the front of the car, but you're going to have to get in to push them down to lock them into place before you do that. Oh, that is helpful. It's a bit annoying though, isn't it? Why don't they just go down like smoothly in one go? And that brings me on to 5 other annoying things about the Volkswagen Tiguan. For some reason, Volkswagen's designers have decided to give elegance and R-line trim versions of this new Tiguan some disgusting fake exhaust pipes. They're so hideous, I can't actually get too close to the car, otherwise I might be sick. So I'm going to expose them now with the long carwow branch of truth. Look. Fake. If you want a reversing camera on this car, you have to pay an extra £370 because it is not standard at any trim level. And the worst thing of all though, is that the picture quality is horrible. Look at it. The load cover for the boot won't fit underneath the false floor. It just won't, look. So, you know what that means. Be free, load cover, be free. This car only comes with one free colour of paint as standard, and it's a boring colour. It's Urano grey, more like urinal grey. When you pull the armrest down in the rear, yes, you have some cup holders which are handy, but it does mean that you end up putting your elbow in them if you want to use the armrest. Why don't they just have a cover on it? Simple. Thankfully, this car has plenty of cool features to help make up for all this. Here's 5. If you have the heated steering wheel, it actually has 3 different settings of heat. Quite unusual. You can fold down the back of the front passenger seat completely flat. Perfect if you're a photographer doing the marketing shots for this car's brochure and want to show off how it's an ideal lifestyle vehicle. Unfortunately, you can't actually do that if you've got the electric seats. Yeah, the back doesn't go down on these, so I can't show you myself, sorry. You might be wondering earlier, where the heck are the front cup holders? Well, look at this. If I press these buttons, they pop out and they're adjustable so they can hold various sized drinks. Then when you don't want them anymore, you can just fold them away. Brilliant. The car is available with matrix LED headlights, and you get 24 different LEDs in each headlight, and it not only gives you a really bright beam, but it can also blank out part of its beam so you don't dazzle other drivers like this. If you enjoy your tunes, upgrade to the new Harman Kardon stereo, 480 watts, 11 speakers, banging. It's time to talk about the engine range that you can get with this new Tiguan. So, petrols, you get a 1.5 litre turbo petrol with either 130 horsepower or 150 horsepower. Then you can get a 2 litre turbo petrol with 320 horsepower in the super hot Tiguan R, not this R-Line model, the full fat performance version. First time they've ever done it actually. Then there's the diesels. They're both 2 litre, one with 150 horsepower, then another with 200 horsepower. You can also get a plug-in hybrid that uses a 1.4 litre turbo petrol engine combined with an electric motor for 245 horsepower, and you can even drive that car in electric power alone for up to 31 miles. Now the Tiguan comes with either a 7-speed automatic gearbox or a 6-speed manual, and it depends which engine you go for. And you can also get it as front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Once again, depends which engine you go for. In fact, to save all the confusion, what I'm going to do is build my ideal Volkswagen Tiguan trim and engine and gearbox combination and get an offer back from one of our trusted carwow dealers for you so you don't have to mess around. And if you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can see my perfect car and the deal I've got on it. Right, let's see what this Tiguan's like to drive. Starting off with in town. Obviously, being sat higher than in a normal hatchback is great for your visibility. Though you don't sit dead high like you do in some proper SUVs such as a Land Rover Discovery Sport, but it's high enough. The suspension is pretty good over bumps. You can get the car with adaptive dampers, which has a comfort mode, so it's even more comfortable. I'm just going to go down here and see how manoeuvrable this car is. I've got a mini roundabout. See if I can make it round there in one go without having to do a 3-point turn. This is the odd bit here. Yeah, no problem. The turning circle on this car is actually 11.5 meters, which is average for this size of car. So not too bad, but not brilliant either. It does help that the steering's nice and light. It's quite easy to just manoeuvre around town. What's it like for parking? Well, I found a parking space there that is huge, so I'll just give it a quick go. Oh, be careful for the cyclist. This is quite a big space, so if I cock this up, I'll be an absolute moron. Actually, I'm going to use the door mirrors going down. Thank God for parking sensors. Visibility in this car, front, back, sides, is all very, very good. In fact, it feels nice and light and spacious in here. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get out onto some quicker roads. This Tiguan's a really good car if you do lots of long journeys for your commute, such as on the motorway or dual carriageways. It's really quite quiet and comfy when you're just munching the miles. If you do loads of miles a year, I'd say get the diesel because you want the maximum economy. However, if you do about 12,000 average, this 1.5 litre turbo petrol is a good blend of performance, price and economy. So I'm averaging 40 miles per gallon out of it. And it's reasonably nippy as well, so the car in front's going really slow. It's like 30, I need to overtake because this is a 50. So I floor the throttle, gearbox responds all right, and we're off. And up to 50 pretty quickly. There is a bit of a moaning from the engine when it really thrashes, like, but it's not too intrusive. I think it's a good engine actually. You can get the Tiguan with adaptive cruise control as well. It comes in at the mid-spec level. This R-Line version has the all-singing, all-dancing travel assist. I'm just going to start it up now, and what that does is not only keep you a safe distance from the car in front using a radar, it'll also read the lines in the road and will not only stop you from wandering out of lane, but will hook you up to the centre of the lane. It does all the steering for you really, so you can just relax and just sit there monitoring it. makes long distances so much easier. Finally then, let's see what this Tiguan is like on a twisty road. I'm going to put the car into sports mode. I've got to take my eyes off the road and look all the way down here to press the driving mode button. There we go. Go from comfort to normal. I mean, who wants to be normal? Let's get into sport. That's sharpened up the throttle response, added weight to the steering, and because this has got the adaptive dampers, it's stiffened up the suspension as well. I can even put the car's automatic gearbox into manual mode and shift gears myself using the pedals in a Tiguan. Because everyone's going to do that, right? No? You do notice the bumps a bit more with the suspension in the sportier setting, but it does stop the car rolling or leaning so much in the bends. But let's just try it in normal mode again. Oh God, hopefully I won't crash while looking down here to press the button. God, that's a stupid place for it. Right, there we go. See what it's going to be like normally. Oh, I actually prefer the feel of it normal. I wasn't bothered with sport. Here comes a bend. Is it going to topple over? No, it doesn't. It does just fine. This thing grips onto the road well. It lets you know what's happening underneath you in terms of the tyres. It's all very confidence-inspiring and reassuring. Is it fun? Not especially. I do think that a BMW X1 has a bit more of a fun drive to it. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, just click on the pop-out banner up there. But really, for most people, most of the time, the Tiguan just does a good all-round job of being quite a good egg to drive. So then, what's my final verdict on the new Volkswagen Tiguan? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the Tiguan. A Volvo XC40 is cooler and a Skoda Kodiaq a little bit more spacious, but this is still a good all-round family SUV.
Oh, is he parking now?
I hope so. I hope he's
Yeah, he is.
If he leaves that gap there, that'd be brilliant.
Oh, reverse that, mate.
Can you do me a favour? Could you either move that way or that way? Because I'm just going to park there. Go that way. Go that way. I want to park it between.
Is this guy going to park there anyway?
Yeah, it's fine.